Hi guys, my name is Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders. This week we're going to talk about Butler versus Hough. Matt, what are your thoughts?
All right, so this is the big Charlotte Kickoff Classic. This will be at the Matthews Sportsplex Game 2. First game is Christian Sun Valley, but we will be focusing on Butler Hough. We'll be there covering that game. Big game here. Two perennial playoff teams in the city. You got Butler, of course. The man you got to think about the most with them is Jamal Worthy. Big running back, strong, fast. He's going to be the focal point in that Bulldog offense. And of course, on the other side, you got the Hough Huskies, another great running back in Evan Pryor. Big Power 5 offers all over the place. Darius Ocean, the big quarterback coming in from the eastern part of the state. Look for a lot of big things on the offensive side for the Huskies. I think Butler will have to control the clock, time of possession, get the Huskies off the field, 3 and outs, and control the pace of the game. The team that can do that the best, I think, is going to come out victorious in week 1.
I'm Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders. Next we have East Mecklenburg at Providence.
All right, so this is a big season opener for both teams. The Eagles, led by second-year coach Robert Forshee, going down the road just a little bit to take on the Providence Panthers, led by Coach Ward. Formerly the strength coach, got promoted to the head coach when Coach Bowles went back down to Charleston to take a head coaching job. You look at this game, the Eagles, struggling a little bit with numbers, but I appear they got some more depth in their program, and that's going to be key in this one. Providence with 4 returning starters on the offensive line, led by big Charles Charnock. Very good player, a good leader. Look for Jake Snap to make some plays on both sides of the ball for Providence. East Meck, linebacker Lawrence Campbell, going to be the heart and soul of that defense. Kind of a throwback, old school player. Jameer Long, a good, athletic-looking safety. And they got some guys on offense that can make some plays. Quarterback returning C.J. Hoke. I think the Eagles will be improved this season. It'll be a very good game to see where these two teams stack up so far in the city of Charlotte.
I'm Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders. Next we have Hopewell at Harding.
All right, the CFI game of the week, and we put out a nice little promo video, something a little different. I like the response that it's gotten online. Thank you guys so much for supporting that and sharing it. When you got a game like this between two teams that last year did not make the playoffs, but two teams I think are going to be greatly improved going into this season. Jamel Bird, head coach for Hopewell, has a lot of talent coming back, a lot of young talent. They only have 4 seniors on their roster, so this is definitely a team on the rise. Van Smith, his first full season at Harding, coming in last season, mid-season taking over. Harding went 2-2 in that kind of scenario. That tells you how good of a coach Coach Smith is. It is very difficult to come in mid-season and implement your style on a program and be successful with it. We'll have a lot more on this game coming up this week, but I think this is a very good matchup, and I think it's going to shape up to be a very, very good game in our CFI game of the week.
I'm Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders. Next we have Independence at North Mecklenburg.
All right, man. Independence, North Meck. This is going to be another really good game. A lot of good matchup in week 1. Coach McNatoli leading the Patriots. Tough season last year. They had a lot of success on the field, but there were a lot of things going on within the program that they had to overcome. Their motto this offseason has been unfinished business, and they really have had a chip on their shoulder all offseason long getting ready for this big year for them. Eric Mormon, head coach of North Meck, a very good head coach, has made a lot of success there in his tenure so far. Putting a lot of kids into college programs on the next level. He's got another really, really good player, receiver DeCon Bobo Stewart, committed to South Carolina. Look for him to make some plays for the Vikings. Conversely, Independence in the air raid offense. You got Shy Wheeler. You got Arnold Taylor at quarterback pulling the trigger. A lot of different guys. Trevor Bryant at wide receiver. So if you like offense, I think this is the game you want to go to, because both of these guys have players that can really make plays on that side of the football. It should be a lot of points on the board for both of these teams.
Charlotte Football Insiders, Shiree Glenn here. Mallard Creek versus Dutch Fork.
Oh man, the big one. Everyone's been talking about all off season long. We were so hyped for it last year, and we had the big storm at Memorial Stadium, unfortunately, that shut us down. No matter how long we waited it out. But obviously, this game is on ESPN2, 6 p.m. start. If you are going somewhere else, make sure you DVR this game because it's going to be one you don't want to miss. And we can talk for 20 minutes on this game, but the real quick breakdown on this, Mallard Creek cannot allow Dutch Fork to have big plays. Dutch Fork, with Tom Knotts, one of the things that he's been known for throughout his whole career all over the Carolinas, making big plays happen and making the most of matchups. The biggest thing that Mallard Creek is going to have to do is get pressure on the quarterback and disrupt the timing of that offense. When the Tommy Knotts offense is hitting on all cylinders and everything's clicking, it's on precision timing. The front four of the Mallard Creek pass rush, J.T. Whitmore, Quentin Williams, Trenton Simpson from the linebacker position, they can make plays on the quarterback, get him off his point, shut down the run game, make them one-dimensional. Mallard Creek does have a good chance to win this ball game. Mallard Creek has a new offensive coordinator, Robert Helms. There'll be some elements of the air raid offense you'll see on Friday night. A little bit different from what Mallard Creek's done in the past. It's going to be exciting. Anytime you put together a bright offensive mind like Helms with the explosive athletes Mallard Creek has had throughout their whole tenure as a school, you expect some big things to happen. So it's going to be an exciting atmosphere, of course. I'm glad that this game will be played, hopefully, this year. It's a great showcase for North Carolina and South Carolina high school football on a national stage. So if you're going down there, please be safe, be loud, and make it a great environment for those kids who worked hard and they deserve this exposure.
Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders, Olympic at Myers Park.
All right, so I watched Olympic last week in their jamboree that they hosted, and they played Blythewood, South Carolina, and I think they looked improved. They came out of the gate real strong. They forced a turnover on their first series. Offense scored on their first possession, jumped up 7-0, and they hung with a very good Blythewood team out of the Columbia area in South Carolina. The biggest thing with Olympic, depth. They're going to have to develop that second level depth in order to compete for 4 quarters with a deep and talented Myers Park team. Myers Park, there has been a lot of scuttlebutt about them struggling in the scrimmage against Mooresville where they won on the last play 6-3, but coaches treat scrimmages differently. Some coaches scheme to win the scrimmage, some coaches try to get different players in different places, try different combinations, so forth and so on. So it's hard to say if you're not in there, in the Myers Park, locker room, you don't necessarily know exactly what the deal was, with that score and that scrimmage. But the big thing, Myers Park has been talked about a lot. Their offensive line, they have 1 starter back in Parker Mendenhall. The other 4 guys will have to step up for them to go where they want to go, which is a state championship. Obviously with Drake May at quarterback and all his receivers and Moose Muhammad and Porter Rooks and Twan Flip and all those guys, they can definitely make plays, but you got to have time to make plays. For Olympic, I think it's this thing where you have to control the ball. You have to stay on the field, keep that high-powered Mustang offense on the sideline, get first downs, chew the clock up, and you want it to be close in the 4th quarter because if you get into that situation, you put the pressure on Myers Park because no one is expecting you to really be in the game, so take advantage of that.
Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders, South Mecklenburg at Catholic.
All right, so the Park Road rivalry. South Meck once again going maybe 2 minutes down the road to take on Charlotte Catholic. South Meck led by new head coach Joe Evans. Saw them in their scrimmage over at Butler. They're going to play hard. They're going to be a feisty team. They're going to be well coached. They're going to know what they want to do. They're not going to quit. They're not going to give up. I guarantee you that. They got some players that can make some plays. I'm impressed with the linebacker Matthew Reddick, only a sophomore. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and be physical. Anthony Haley at wide receiver, I think, is a player as well. And then you got the Moss sons on that team as well at wide receiver, ready to make plays. So I think they're a capable team. It's going to take some time for Coach Evans to get his system in place and get everybody comfortable. Conversely, with Charlotte Catholic, we know what they are. Coach Mike Brodowicz has done a phenomenal job taking over for Jim Otto a few years ago. Of course, you talk about Malik McGowan, the big tackle going to North Carolina. McDowell, the big running back who is just physical and is a bruiser. And then their defense, oh my gosh, linebacker Billy Brewer, the Foleys, those guys have made plays, seems like forever. But that's the great thing about Catholic. You grow up in that system and you become ingrained in it, and it's just like clockwork. And, that's the advantage Charlotte Catholic has. Coming out of the gate, there's not necessarily an adjustment period. So you expect Catholic to be the favorite here, but South Meck is not going to give them anything. I can trust you on that one.
Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders, Vance at Berry.
All right, so I saw the Vance Cougars Friday night in the Olympic Jamboree going against Dudley, and they made some plays that were something else. Got popular run on social media. Of course, we all know Vance has so much talent on both sides of the ball. Head coach Glenwood Furby, coming down from Virginia, has started to settle in and put his stamp on the program. The biggest thing with Vance is, just making sure that they get everything on the same page, especially on offense. I think their defense, with Coach Hackett being a defense coordinator, he was already there as a defensive backs coach. Not as much of a transition offensively. Obviously, with Coach Brand leaving and going to Irmo, it's a bit more of a transition. So they'll want to make sure that they get everything down. Get all their players in the right place and get used to doing what they want to do on offense. For Berry, I think they have some guys that can make some plays. Nathan Strutter at receiver coming out of the slot. Jaden Wallace, the quarterback, is a senior, has been there through the wars a couple times. I like the offense coordinator, Wes Curtis, and what he's doing on that side of the ball. And, of course, Coach Andrew Howard, his second stint at Berry, very good guy. They're opening their new stadium. They got a brand new field over there, so that'll be exciting. I'm sure Berry will be fired up about that. But, you look at it on paper, most people are going to choose Vance as the favorite. But Berry, as we've always said throughout the years, Berry has talent. And you can't take them lightly, that's for sure.
Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders, Ardrey Kell at Weddington.
All right, so this is another, rival type game in that part of the city. Ardrey Kell, obviously in the Ballantyne area, taking on Weddington, which is just across the Mecklenburg-Union County border. These schools have played for years in the non-conference, and I'm sure there'll be a big crowd out there once again Friday night. Ardrey Kell, led by Greg Jocham, first-year head coach. He's been formerly the defensive coordinator there, so he knows the kids. Visited with them a couple weeks ago. They're working hard. Another team, once again, with good talent, good senior-led talent, led by Cedric Gray. Athlete, who's going to be playing linebacker at North Carolina. He's a fun kid to watch. I'd love to see him grow throughout his career. Jared Joseph, who's going to be playing quarterback, is also going to play some defense. And Michael Hetzel, receiver there, also going to put on some defensive sides and move him around a lot. So those are three kids you want to watch if you're going to that game. Of course, when you talk about Weddington, led by Andy Capone, great young head coach, and then Will Shipley, of course, the big-time recruit everyone has been hearing about. Every school, seems like in the nation, wants this kid to be a part of his team, and for good reason. A running back / athlete that can play all over the field. And, Weddington is a well-coached team. No matter what they seem to lose, they always seem to reload. On defense, I love how they fly the ball and they play so disciplined. That's going to be the thing for Ardrey Kell. Lean on that. Discipline, where guys are going to be, so that sometimes you can try to use that to your advantage. But that's going to be the big key in this one. Can Ardrey Kell generate enough offense to keep up with what Weddington's going to do on that side of the ball?
Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders, West Charlotte at Garinger.
All right, so two of my favorite head coaches here, Coach Josh Harris at West Charlotte, going up against Coach Caldwell at Garinger. This game last year had a nice little ring to it. I think Garinger has improved. We saw that last year. They picked up 3 wins. Coach Caldwell is doing a great job over there with putting in his system and his way of doing things, and those kids are responding. Mr. Bailey that plays tight end, and he'll play some linebacker / DN on defense as well for the Wildcats. It's a key player to watch for Garinger. West Charlotte running back Iwan Jackson had over 1,300 yards on the ground last year. One of the best running backs in the city that you really don't know. Quarterback Silas Cruz coming in his senior year. Talented big kid, can throw the ball all over the field. It's going to be interesting to see what West Charlotte does on offense, because I think they're going to do some different things on that side of the ball than we've seen in the past. For Garinger, you get a game like this against a crosstown rival, you want to come out fast. Put a little bit of pressure on West Charlotte. Let them know they're in a game. Make it a 4-quarter game, and take your chances. This game is what most people look at it as. Garinger is an improved program, and I expect it to be a good game to watch. I really do.
Shiree Glenn, Charlotte Football Insiders, West Meck at Rocky River.
Oh man, this is another good game right here. We just saw West Meck this past Saturday down at the Andrew Jackson Founders Credit. It had like 9 names for that thing. Anyway, we saw them in that jamboree, and they defeated Lancaster 19-7. The new quarterback for West Meck, Zaire Kinney, impressed me. He did a good job running that offense. Of course, Jamari Taylor, one of the better athletes / running backs in the area, had 2 touchdowns in that matchup. Those are 2 guys that Rocky River is going to have to be accountable for at all times. Conversely, Rocky River with middle linebacker Greer, quarterback Corey Haley, 2 guys you want to watch for on them. Rocky River has some talent that you may not know just because of where they are. I think they got some kids that are kind of under the radar a little bit. I like Khalil Alexander on the defensive side of football as well. And the big offensive lineman, Sharp, is impressive as well. I like what he did in some camps that I was at in the preseason. This is going to be a really good game. If you don't know where you want to go Friday night, you just want a good game, this will be a good game. I expect this one to come down to the end. I think both of these teams are on about the same level right